Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Rini, for that kind introduction. And thank you very much for inviting me to deliver the summit keynote address and talk about the trajectory of the nation in the next 25 years and in the Indian Air Force in particular. Sorry, excuse me. Let me begin by what the Prime Minister had quoted just a few days ago. I need to read this. He said, "We have less time, but immense capabilities. We have difficult targets, but great courage. We have the goal to climb the mountains, but we will transcend even the skies." Very appropriate for today's theme. Let me begin by taking you all back as a flashback to 25 years prior to this day. 1998, I was a young pilot in a frontline combat squadron. But where were we as a nation in 1998? The Pokhran blasts had just taken place. India, as a country, was badly sanctioned. Mobile connectivity was a distant dream. All of us were still using dial-up telephones. I'm sure most of you would have still relied on the good old inland letters and postcards to communicate with each other. The PSLV rockets were just launched a few years prior to that. India's GDP was a little above $400 billion. This is where we need to realize where we were 25 years ago. If we allow us to comprehend, this will allow us to comprehend the kind of leap that is going to take place in the coming 25 years. Not to forget, we are also all 25 years older, but we have adapted to this technology. Today, I'm sure all of us, in all of our households, from the grandparents to the grandchild, everybody is on a common WhatsApp group. Everybody has learned how to use technology. So I'm confident that in the coming 25 years, or when India celebrates its 100 years of independence, everybody, the whole nation will be technologically savvy. The fact that technology grows exponentially and not linearly should not be lost on us. What we will see that in the next 25 years, there will definitely be greater growth, the contours of which are going to be quite difficult to predict at this stage. When our nation completes 100 years of independence, we would be looking at a very different India, possibly one of the largest economies in the world, possibly a leader in many fields, but definitely a power to reckon with. And when I use these words, a power to reckon with, what are the attributes that go behind this statement to say that India is a power to reckon with? One such attribute, I would say, is to be able to reach a dominant position characterized by the ability to exert influence or project power across the globe. This can be done through a combination of all the means at the hands of the government: the economic, the political, the diplomatic heft, the cultural well-being, the soft power. All these are engines which are going to drive us towards reaching a position where we are a country to reckon with. We already are the 5th largest economy, galloping towards being the 3rd largest in the coming decade. We also have now reached the distinction of being the most populous nation in the world. What we have to understand is, interestingly, this demographic dividend opportunity, which began from the year 2005 or 6 and go on till 2055 or 56. This 50 years is going to see that our nation will have the largest, youngest population in the world. This bulge in the working class population is something that we need to capitalize on and exploit to the fullest. Our economic progress, political stability, diplomatic deftness, and all this has put us on the center stage in world affairs. Added to this, definitely, is the combined military might of the nation. Today, the Indian Army is the 2nd largest army in the world. The Indian Navy is the 8th largest Navy. The Indian Air Force is the 4th largest Air Force in the world. Combined, we form a very potent force that can definitely chart the future of this nation in the next 25 years. The Indian Air Force, I will now speak particularly about, has just completed 90 years of existence. It is the youngest of the service. And as we move towards celebrating our centenary 10 years from today, we need to transform into one of the most modern air and space forces. That is my vision and the dream. The Indian Air Force, like any other Air Force, is a very highly technological and capital-intensive service. And it will always mirror the trajectory of the nation as a whole. We have to keep this in mind, that apart from probably the development of the semiconductors or the chip, no other field has seen so much development in the last 100 years. Mind you, aviation came into being only in 1903, in the first flight of the Wright brothers. So in the 100 or 120 years that have gone by of aviation history, the kind of transformation we have seen is only seen, like I said, in the semiconductor industry. Evolution has taken place from small biplanes to now exploitation of space in all its domains. So this is just a glimpse of things that have happened and what we can expect in the future. Where is the challenge going to be? In my opinion, the challenge is going to lie in indigenous development, design, research, and production of these capabilities that will take us into the 100th year of the Indian Air Force's existence. For example, development of new generation aircraft, weapon systems, radars. This will all require an all-of-nation approach. No single entity will be able to achieve what we desire to possess, the capability that we are looking forward to in the next 25 years. It has to be an all-of-nation approach. We need to focus on research and development with the aim to manufacture on our own, rather than mere indigenization of a few foreign or a few imported components. The focus has to remain on ability to design, develop, and manufacture in our country. And in this respect, I must say that the government has taken large steps in supporting the Indian companies and academia with the necessary policy formulation and by providing a conducive environment.